You can flip, flop, and fly the Ricochet way, but it ain't getting you anywhere in wrestling, and maybe Ricochet has just realised that. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, and it seems like Ricochet is not happy. He came out, he spoke about his character, or should I say lack of character, and he complained about not getting the same opportunities as some people in the WWE, and he mentioned names like Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and Cody Rhodes. Now, perhaps the reason Ricochet doesn't get these chances is because he's not as good as those people. Quite frankly, he sucks. Outside of him flying over the top rope, outside of him flying off the top rope, he doesn't really have anything to offer, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is what Ricochet had to say on a podcast. I believe it was Mark Andrews' My Love Letter to Wrestling. Never heard of the podcast. Sounds like an absolute shit podcast. The fact that they had Ricochet on it as a guest probably means it is a shit podcast. But nonetheless, here's what Ricochet had to say when talking about his character. And I quote, "He kind of gets a reset every time he's out. So whether he lost in 5 minutes last week, people don't really remember, because when he comes out, they just know they're about to see something cool. And so I think like that's a good and bad thing for Ricochet, because I don't really get the opportunity, like for example, a Seth Rollins or an AJ Styles or someone like a Cody Rhodes does. When they lose a match the next week on Raw, they get to come out and talk about what happened and why they lost and what's going to happen in the future and how they're going to change it. Ricochet doesn't really get that. Ricochet just has to come out and have another match. You know what I mean? Whether he wins or loses, he just comes out and has another match. So until that time comes and I get the opportunity to do the story and get the story, which obviously we all want the Rock and Austin story. We all want the Cena and CM Punk story. We all want those stories, you know? But I think the most important thing is delivering when it matters. Delivering when you can. What you can when it matters. That way, when the time comes and they hand me a microphone, I'm telling everybody, hey, I'm better than your favourite wrestler. So sorry. End of quote. Guys, what the fuck is this guy talking about? First of all, he should not be mentioning himself in the same sentence or bracket as Rock and Austin and Cena CM Punk. He should just not, because quite frankly, that is delusional. So he should just not even talk about those names. I don't mind them talking about the likes of Seth Rollins or whatever. Maybe that's an achievable level for Ricochet, but let's not talk about Cena, Rock and Austin, okay? That is absolute bullshit. But look at the way he ends the quote. So if he gets a microphone, according to Ricochet, this is what he's going to say. I'm telling everybody, hey, I'm better than your favourite wrestler. So sorry. Like, what the fuck is that? What kind of cutting edge shit is that, man? Are we supposed to tremble? Are we supposed to chant at the TV screen because he's basically telling everybody, hey, I'm better than your favourite wrestler? So sorry. I mean, this is why Ricochet is not over. This is why Ricochet will never be over. And this is why WWE are probably afraid of handing the guy a fucking microphone, because he does not have a clue. The guy is absolutely clueless when it comes to wrestling. He seems to think if he was able to come out to the ring and cut a promo and talk about how, well, I didn't get the height I wanted on the moonsault, and if I did, then maybe I could have kept my opponent down for 3.2 seconds, but I didn't, so I could only do it for 2.9 seconds, and they managed to kick out. And I guess when I went for the hammerlock, I didn't have it locked in tight, and when they went for the sleeper hold, it was a little bit too tight, and the oxygen cut out from my head, and I couldn't think about what next move over the top rope I was going to perform. This guy seems to think him coming out and talking about wrestling and how he lost the match and how he was going to work harder in the ring and prevent from losing again. He thinks that's going to get him over. Seriously? Coming out and saying, oh, I am that backbreaker hurt my back, so I wasn't able to kick out. I mean, are you fucking serious? Look at characters in wrestling. Look at the guys that were over. When did they come out and talk about the winning and losing their matches? When did they come out and talk about moves? I mean, that never fucking happened. But Ricochet seems to think he can come out and say, well, if I got an extra foot on the split leg at moonsault, I would have beat you. No, mate. You ain't beating nobody. You're a jobber for life. A jobber for life. How this guy got his hands on the Intercontinental Championship, I honestly do not know. Hopefully, though, he never gets his hands on another title again. For him to come out and think that he seems to think that him talking about his match, him talking about whether he won or lost and what he's going to do better next time would get him over. You've got no character, you're a fucking bum, you can't speak, you're just another vanilla midget that hits super kicks and flips, and you'd be better off in AEW. That's the truth. You're not going to make it in WWE, you're not going to do anything relevant in WWE because you're not good enough. You're just another guy, a flip-flopper and fly. So there you go. Fly your ass on out of here. This video's over, but for Ricochet to think that if he could talk about what happened in the match, then that would get him over. Remember The Rock talking about what happened in the matches? You remember The Rock talking about how he didn't have the sharpshooter locked in tight enough for his opponent to tap? No, The Rock talked about candy fucking asses and laying the SmackDown. He didn't talk about his fucking match. So, yeah, Ricochet, again, just not really knowing what to do as a pro wrestler. Kind of sad, to be honest. When you look at the locker room and you realise that he's not the only guy. Like, most of the guys in the locker room probably feel this way. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, come on. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.